All right, let's talk about something we all think we understand, the speed of light. You know, c, the universe's ultimate speed limit, the one rule you just can't break. But what if that entire idea that c is some kind of cosmic speed limit is not just wrong, but completely backwards? So here's the mind-bending idea we're digging into today. On one hand, you have the view we all learned in school. Light speed is the maximum speed. It's the finish line you can never quite cross. But on the other hand, a radical new theory says, forget the finish line. Light speed isn't the maximum speed, it's the only speed. Yeah, you heard that right. That everything, you, me, this planet, we're all, right now, moving at the speed of light. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, I'm sitting still, my coffee cup is sitting still. How can everything be moving at light speed? Well, according to this idea, that feeling of being still, it's a complete illusion, a trick our minds play on us because of our very limited human perspective. To get our heads around this, we need to talk about something called a perspectival artifact. It sounds complicated, but it's not. Think about a rainbow. From where you're standing, it looks like a real physical thing hanging in the sky, right? But you can't go touch it. It's not actually there. It's just an effect of light, water, and your specific point of view. It's an artifact of your perspective. Okay, so now take that rainbow idea and apply it to, well, everything. This theory says that when you see a car going 60 miles an hour and a tree standing still, you're just seeing another perspectival artifact. Those different speeds, rest, they aren't real properties of the car or the tree. They're just features of our point of view, not the deep underlying reality. And look, this isn't just some fun, philosophical what-if scenario. The argument is that this fundamental misunderstanding of light speed is actually causing huge problems in physics. It's creating these deep cracks in our best models of the universe, especially when they try to deal with what's happening right at the speed of light. I mean, take a giant of physics like Einstein's General Relativity. It's an amazing map for navigating the cosmos. But here's the catch. It's a map drawn by someone who's always moving slower than light. So what happens when you follow that map all the way to light speed? The rules fall apart, the logic breaks down, and you get these strange artifacts in the math, things that make absolutely no physical sense. And this is where we get to the heart of the critique. The theory says that when our math tells us something bizarre, like a photon crossing the entire universe in 0 time, we shouldn't just shrug and say, wow, physics is weird. We should say, hold on, our map is wrong. We're mistaking the map, the mathematics, for the territory, which is actual reality. This all leads to a huge problem with how we think about time. You've heard the phrase, right? For a photon, time stands still. Well, this new perspective says that's a logical dead end, a complete trap. It says our thinking is flawed in 3 big ways. First, we pretend time is just a variable that can hit 0 and disappear. Second, we automatically assume our slow perspective is the normal one. And third, we use fancy math to paper over the massive logical holes that these first 2 mistakes create. So, if our view of reality is just an illusion based on our perspective, what's actually real? Let's dive into the new model this theory suggests, because it paints a totally different picture of what the universe is made of. I love this breakdown. So start with what we see every day, right? A world of separate things, a chair, a table, a person. That's step 1. But now let's zoom in. At a much smaller scale, you realize nothing is truly static. Everything is vibrating, moving. It's all just constant change. That's step 2. And now for the final leap, step 3. At the deepest level, reality isn't made of things at all. It's a single, unified fabric, a substrate, whose one and only rule is that it is in a state of constant, perpetual change at speed c. So here's the big takeaway. In this new model, light speed is not some cosmic speed limit you're trying to hit. It's not a destination. It's the very ground you're standing on. It's the constant, fundamental state of the universe itself. Objects don't move through space to try and reach c. The fabric of reality is the change that we call c. Okay, so if this is even remotely on the right track, what does that mean for physics? It's a huge deal. It means we need a major pivot. We have to stop just building theories that describe reality from our point of view and start trying to describe reality as it is objectively. And the suggestion for how to do that is pretty cool. The proposal is to create what's called a manifesto of properties. So instead of making laws about how objects bump into each other, since objects are just illusions of our perspective anyway, we'd instead focus on describing the raw substance of reality itself. What are its built-in properties? How does it behave on its own when nobody's looking? So let's just quickly recap the core problem this whole theory is trying to solve. The argument is basically that physics is stuck in a rut. Why? Because we keep treating C as a ceiling, not the floor. Because we insist that things can be at rest, when that's just an illusion. And, maybe most importantly, because we keep using math as a sort of shield to protect us from looking at the logical problems these ideas create. And that leaves us with one heck of a final question to chew on. What if all the biggest mysteries in physics, things like dark matter, or why our two best theories of the universe don't get along, what if those aren't really mysteries about the universe at all? What if they're just shadows, artifacts created by our own limited, human, slower-than-light perspective?